In the last 10 days, ICE agents have shot a 37-year-old mother multiple times in Minneapolis as she died in the street. They have blinded 2 protesters in California by firing projectiles into their face. One is a 21-year-old who will never see again out of his left eye. Those agents have witnessed the death of a man in a Texas detention facility where a medical examiner classified it as death by asphyxiation. And this is just some of what we know from the last 10 days. Since January, about 170 American citizens have been detained, including a 21-year-old who was walking to lunch, who kept saying, "I'm a citizen," while agents shackled him and fingerprinted him anyway. And when American citizens get detained because agents don't care about proof, that is not an immigration issue. That is a constitutional crisis. And it could happen to any one of us. I am a public servant. I fully believe in the rule of law. And yes, immigration laws should be enforced, and those who commit violent crimes should be deported. But the people enforcing those laws need to follow the Constitution and follow the laws themselves, and they clearly are not. Warrantless raids, masked agents not identifying themselves, racial profiling of U.S. citizens, shooting unarmed civilians, death in ICE custodies that have been ruled homicides. That is not law enforcement. You know, they like to use the word domestic terrorism, and that is what this is. It is not law enforcement. It is unchecked terrorism, and nobody is holding ICE accountable. Here's what makes this a Hoosier issue, not just a national one. So you might be saying, why are you talking about this? How does this affect the 8th District? It is a national issue because constitutional rights don't stop mattering because we live in Indiana and not in Minnesota or California. The 4th Amendment protects us all from warrantless searches, government overreach, federal agents who think that just because they have badges, they are above the law. They do not have absolute immunity. We don't give any agency or agent, local, state, or federal, a blank check to violate constitutional rights. And many of you have asked, well, if you're elected, what would you do? Well, if I'm elected, I would demand investigations into ICE misconduct, and we can do that now too as citizens. I will fight to protect the 4th Amendment. I'll push for transparency and accountability when federal agents are shooting our civilians and people are dying in custody. And I will make sure that Congress actually oversees ICE instead of rubber stamping budgets while chaos reigns in the streets. There is still time for us to do that as citizens, by the way, that we call to action. Call your congressman. They are negotiating the budget now in terms of DHS funding, which ICE is under. Call your congressperson, ask them to look closely at those funding requests and have them push back, because every community deserves immigration enforcement that is accountable, constitutional, and focused on actual criminals, not terrorizing people and violating our rights.